And we're back. Today is July 15th and the Copa America finally ended. So this is the last video in betting $500 in the 2024 Copa America. And from the last video, there's been so many things that happened. So let me give you guys a small recap of what happened throughout this tournament, who won, and overall how much money we won and how much money we lost. That being said, let me show you guys everything. As you guys know, we just opened the app. And overall, this is how much money we got right now. $0. That's because I cashed out last minute with a juicy gains of $13,000 in overall profits. Let me just tell you guys how I got to 13K. From the last time we saw each other, I remember I told you guys I put around 95% of all the money that we had in profits all in this game between Argentina and Peru. I had to go all in with Argentina because World Cup winners against Peru, I knew they could make a goal, and in the second half Argentina made 2 goals, leading up to a juicy gains of $3,900 in profit. So with $3,900 in profit, from this point on I felt really good. I felt almost cashing out, but there was just so many good other games that we could probably make profit on because these were not even the quarterfinals yet, and there was still a lot of opportunity to just make money off of these other games. So for that, I did not cash out and I had to just keep going on. And for the next 2 games, Canada with Chile, I put $50 in Canada because Canada was playing really well. They were just playing so good overall. But as you guys can see, that did not happen. They ended up with a tie of 2-2 and losing my profits of $50. But after that, there was still so much money I could use to leverage the other games. So what I did was with Mexico and Ecuador, I went $250 because Mexico players are really good players, but they don't really tend to outcompete South America players. So for that reason, I just saw more potential in Ecuador, and for that reason, I went with $250 in Ecuador. But as you guys can see, that didn't happen. And again, with a 0-0 tie in 90 minutes, I just ended off losing that wager. And later on that game, I saw how Ecuador was playing, and last minute, I put another $100 in, and this led to me losing overall $350 in this game between Ecuador and Mexico. From what I saw, the lineup and everything else, they were playing really well, but this is the point of betting. You never know who's gonna win. This is the risks you gotta take, and for this point, these were really hard decisions to make between Ecuador and Mexico because they're really great teams. So that's why I didn't really invest that much money in, because I knew this game was gonna be this close. And overall, they did not pay that much between these two, so that's why I didn't really put more money in. But from that point on, there was another game that changed it all. After this, Mexico and Ecuador settled in. The game between USA and Uruguay came up. So on July 1st, this game was really going to be a close match because, like I said, USA was playing really well overall. But from the last game that they showed us, it was really hard to choose between Uruguay and USA because last time they lost was because of that foul they had caused one of the players to be eliminated. So for that reason, I really didn't know which one to choose. As you guys know, Uruguay, they're one of the best South American players overall. They're the top 3 players overall in South America. So for this point, I had to go with Uruguay. And from what I saw in the betting app is they were giving a great return for Uruguay. So this made me realize there's an opportunity here where we can make even more money in. So from this point on, this was my either go in or go out like Argentina. I had to do what I had to do, and I went all in this game. Even though it's going to be close, we didn't know who was going to win because, like I said, USA, they have great players. Is their golden team. So to say that Uruguay could lose in the 90 minutes, I didn't believe so. But to say that they could probably end up in a tie 0-0, that was most likely to happen. But I went with Uruguay, and overall, this is what happened. Like I said, I put around 90% of all my profits in Uruguay, and I put all my chips in. The first game, I put $1,000 in, which is going to give me a juicy return of $2,950, and I put another 1K in, which is going to give me another $2,950. And I just saw an opportunity here that I could either take or break, and I put another 1K in, leaving me to 3K in overall. And then from that point on, I put 856, which was the last of my money that I had in because I said we either go all in or we go all out. And this was where it could either break or make. And at the end, I put another 700. I put around more than 100%. And as you guys can see, what ended up happening was Uruguay made a goal second half. So this was the game that changed it all. From this point on, I had a total whopping of 13K in gains from this one game. Honestly, the game was intense. Like I said, USA, they were playing really well with all their teams. Their golden players were just killing it overall. But Uruguay, like I said, they just are one of the top 3 players in South America. So to say that you're going against one of the top 3 in South America is just a really hard decision to make. Even though USA, their golden team was still one of the biggest risks I had to go against. So overall, as you guys can see, this risk took profits and we made 13K overall in this one game. And from all these games, I just realized that I couldn't make any more bets because I didn't want to test my luck anymore. And sometimes I always believe there's always a fine line between wanting more and just taking profits. As you guys know, if you guys do stocks, risk tolerance is one of the main keys between to make either profits or to just lose it all. So from this point on, I was satisfied for what I had and I cashed out around 12K in profits, and overall it came out good. But if it was not to come out the way it was supposed to come out, I would be seeing a count of $0. Like I said, I didn't want to test my luck anymore. I was satisfied of how much money we had, but at the same time, I left 1K. If everything goes well, we could just probably double it. That's what I ended up doing. From this point on, this made me choose the other 2 games that did not end up the way I thought it would end up. Now it's Colombia versus Brazil and Costa Rica versus Paraguay. So with Colombia and Brazil, damn, this was a really hard choice to make because Colombia and Brazil, I just knew Colombia was gonna win. Brazil in the last games just didn't really seem to be playing to their full potential like I thought they would be. And Colombia has been over exceeding our expectations throughout this tournament. So overall, I had to go with Colombia in this game between Colombia and Brazil. But as you guys can see, like I said, you never know what's going to happen in the game. Throughout the whole match, Colombia and Brazil just ended up in a tie 1-1, leaving us with a loss of $200. And if that wasn't enough, last minute, I put $100 in between Colombia, and this ended up me losing $300 in my 1K profit portfolio. Like I said, you never know what's going to happen in these games. Overall, this game was just really great. Brazil was giving its all, and Colombia as well was just playing with sauce like it always has. Although I didn't make the win that I thought they were gonna make, it was still a great match. If they were to go to penalties, I would still go with Colombia all the way. Paraguay and Costa Rica. Now this was a match that nobody thought the outcome was gonna be the way it was gonna be. So from Paraguay and Costa Rica, this match I went with 250 in Paraguay because Costa Rica, they're not really known for winning games. Paraguay was still, in my opinion, a bigger advantage against Costa Rica. But from that game, Costa Rica just ended up making 2 goals in the first, with Paraguay making 1 goal in the second half, and this just ended up Costa Rica just making us lose $250. I felt good for Costa Rica because a team that isn't really represented to win games, to win against Paraguay, which was once known to being one of the best players in South America at one point, was just really surprising to see the outcome because Costa Rica just played well and I really enjoyed watching the matches. So for Costa Rica to win, I was really satisfied. I didn't really care about losing 250, but overall we lost in just one day between these 2 games, Costa Rica and Brazil and Colombia. From my $1,000 that I thought was gonna double, I've just been taking L's, but that's 55% of my profits, and the best part was just the start, and the quarterfinals was just around the corner. Now we come to the next match between Argentina and Ecuador to go against a World Cup title team. For that reason, I went with Argentina. I put $150 in first, and then I ended up putting another $300 with Argentina, which I cashed out last minute because I knew they were going to end up in penalties. So with Argentina, Ecuador, first half, Argentina made a goal. Like I said, in a soccer match, you never know what's going to happen, and sometimes these are the risks that you got to take. So from this $450 wager, Ecuador in second half ended up making a magnificent goal. This is just what ended up with Ecuador and Argentina tied in the second half, making this 90 minutes go to penalties. My wagers go to a loss. As you guys can see, Ecuador proved us wrong. I only had 45% of my money in. I thought of going all in or all out like all my other games, and like I said, this is where you could see where I didn't really take my risk tolerance really well. So this is what ended up me losing 44%. If you guys see, last minute I could actually cash out my money. Although I was gonna lose $300, if I could keep around 3% of my money back, I could probably make around $50 off of this $32. And for this point, I just cashed out. But the game was just overall really great. So now with only 3% of just having nothing else to lose, the match between Venezuela and Canada, really hard choice to make. I put all my money in Venezuela, and as you guys know, you never know what's gonna happen in a soccer game, and it ended up in a tie and just ended up overall in penalty kicks, leading to Canada winning at the end of the day. And overall, Canada was a really great team. Even though many thought Venezuela was gonna win, Canada just showed a great better advantage at the end of the day. And you guys could see I cashed out last minute. I was still gonna keep around $4. Still wanted to see how much money I could profit overall with Venezuela and Canada. Canada won, leading them to go to the semifinals, and overall I lost my $36, and that was that. So with the last $5 I had left, I knew this game was gonna be the last game that I was gonna bet in. This is where I went all in or all out with all my money. So with this game between Uruguay and Brazil, honestly I wanted to get into this game last minute, and from this point with Uruguay and Brazil, I had to go with Uruguay because Brazil was just lacking and Uruguay was just being a more promising team. So I went all $5 in with Uruguay, and this ended up me just losing overall because in the 90 minutes neither could make one single goal. This match ended in me losing with all my $5 and just making me lose all my profits. From this point on, I just ended up watching the rest of the match between Uruguay and Brazil. Uruguay ended up winning because they didn't miss a goal. I knew Uruguay was gonna win, even though I didn't win like how I was supposed to win. Uruguay at the end of the day won. So this ended up the semifinals with Argentina and Canada starting off the semifinals. Although you could probably make some more money if you put more money in my opinion, I believe that I was satisfied with how much money I made. Overall, I just ended up watching the games. Even though I lost 1K, I could probably make more money in because I still had 12K. Once enough is enough, you got to be satisfied for what you have. If you guys don't know how to take your wins, or if you guys don't know how to take your losses, this is how a lot of people just lose everything at the end of the day. In the semifinal, it was Argentina and Canada. Canada played the best game that it could against Argentina, but like I said, Argentina against Canada, Argentina ended up smoking Canada. And the game between Uruguay and Colombia, now this was a match that we were all waiting for. Colombia, we were all expecting them to win. This game was just really great, kept us in our seats, and overall Colombia, great performance, great team. Now we end up in our third place match between Canada and Uruguay. The fact that Canada got to this point is just one of the biggest accomplishments in North America leagues. What people expected was USA to be in Canada's position. Throughout this game ended up being a really great game, a really great match, with Uruguay and Canada making 2-2s and ended off in penalties. But overall, Uruguay just had better penalty kicks, making Uruguay get third place champions in the Copa America. Even Drake, I heard, ended up betting in this match with around 300K with Canada. If Canada was to win, I heard Drake was about to be making $2 million in just Canada. As you guys can see, that did not happen. Overall, Canada ended up 4th place and Uruguay ended up being 3rd place. Great match overall. On the 14th of July, we come to Argentina and Colombia. Now, this was a match that did not disappoint anybody. I could not even choose a team to go with, to be honest. World Cup title team against Colombia, golden team, and this is what ended up with Argentina even going to extra time, and we even thought they were going to go to penalties at the end. On the 115 minutes, on the first half of the second extended time, Argentina ended up making 1 goal, and just Colombia ended up being 2nd place and Argentina ended up being in 1st place. With the finals and losing all my 1K profits, what I'm gonna say is I do not recommend sports betting. This is just me showing my results, my opinion. If you are gonna do something like this, remember to take risk tolerance, because like I said, in a soccer match, you never know what's gonna happen. You never know when penalties happen. You never know when a corner kick could just end up being a goal. Overall, remember to hit that like button for the algorithm. Remember to subscribe for more videos like this, because the 2026 World Cup tournament is around the corner in 2 years. Remember to comment down below, give me your opinion of what do you thought about this Copa America tournament, who do you think supposed to win, and I'll catch you guys another time. Take care, be safe, let's go.